Welcome one, welcome all. This is ASSR once again, live with PSI TV here from Richmond International Raceway. I'm Andrew Cardinale on the mic with Michael Redding and Zach Lindgren alongside me in the booth tonight. We're in the middle of qualifying, and while we're here, we're going to bring up one of our two in-race reporters, Chris Jennings in the number 99. He won last week's race at Darlington. Sorry, I almost blinked there. Chris, what can you tell us about what you feel we should expect while we watch this race?
Track seems a little slick, so it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be hard to pass. Tires are going to be pretty important. I think it's just going to be a good race. I think these guys will get the car under control and hopefully get some green flag runs.
All right. Well, after winning last week, I believe that was your sixth or seventh win on the season. You've obviously got a big head of steam going into the chase here at All Star Sim Racing in the Manifold Truck Series. Do you think you can close it all out at Homestead?
I sure hope so. Sure going to do everything I can to make that possible. These guys have really come a long ways. There's a lot of fast guys in this league, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck tonight out here at Richmond. We've got 135 laps for you and the rest of the field out here tonight. Uh, yeah, once again, have a good race. Wish you the best of luck. Hopefully, keep your truck clean and give us a show there at the end.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, that was one of our two in-race reporters on the night. The second in-race reporter that we have will be in the number 84 truck. That's Jimmy North. Jimmy, as we bring you up here, what can you tell us about tonight? What to expect? How the truck and track are feeling?
Well, starting off in practice, it was a little rough. We went in, changed the brake bias a little bit. Got a little bit better in qualifying, but practice we were like 19th and way off pace. And right now we're kind of sitting in the top 10 here. Truck for the most part is pretty decent, but I think it's going to be really hard coming off a two with older tires, and the same with coming off a four. It's probably going to want to slide out.
All right. Well, you ran a pretty good start to the race last week at Darlington. Now that we're able to catch up with you, what can you tell us about what happened there in the early going?
Well, I was chasing down, I think it was, I can't remember. Whoever the leader was at the time, kind of catching him, kind of saving the tires. Then coming off of two, just hit that apron a little bit, and it slid the truck around. I felt it was going to be a good race. That's what I needed coming into tonight, is to have decent points tonight, and that didn't happen. So now we're kind of still caught on that 20th place in points, and trying to make this chase. We got two wins on the season at Indy and Michigan, and so the stress is on tonight.
All right. Well, as you continue your, actually, you're currently in the chase. You're locked in with your two wins, like you said. So as you try and better your playoff points, I guess going into the chase, I assume we get bonus points here for wins. Best of luck to you tonight in the number 84. Hopefully you put on another show just like last week at Darlington. Hopefully this time though it doesn't end early.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, as like I said, we just gotta be careful, not make mistakes, and not get caught back in traffic, because it's gonna be hard to pass. But appreciate you guys coming on board tonight and doing the broadcast. Thanks to Scott Brotherton, Jeremy Bazemore, and all the guys that make this happen.
All right. Thank you as well for coming out racing us, supporting us. You have a good night, bud. We're gonna move you back up. And with that, we've got Michael Redding and Zach Lindgren up here in the booth as well, like I mentioned. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, what's going on out there? Gonna try to do my best, give y'all an exciting show tonight.
Hey guys, how you doing? Zach here. I hope you guys enjoy the stream, and I'll give you guys the best commentary that we can.
All right, well, that's certainly a unique way for you guys to do it. Currently, we have the chase grid as we come into this final race before the chase over here in the Manifold Truck Series up on the screen for everyone at home. Chris Jennings, Jeremy Mazemore, Scott Brotherton, and Jimmy North take up the top half of the guys that are locked in. Currently, there's 8 of those drivers. The other 4 are Jeff Gilmore, James McKee, Mike Perry, and Matthew Cox. So there's 8 guys currently locked in. The back 4 spots are still open to anyone who can point their way in. Currently, those 4 drivers occupying those 4 spots are going to be the 23 of David Dolliber, the 00 of Kurt Rittenberg, the 26 of Jeremy Rittenberg, and the 33 of Doug McCullum. So, it's going to be interesting to see what goes on here with these guys trying to get the last couple of spots. Like we said, there's 4 spots open, and there's at least probably 10 hungry drivers out here that are looking for a spot to get into the chase.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you. I mean, anytime a playoff picture comes into effect, the intensity is gonna start to pick up at any time during the race, at the beginning, middle, or end, and usually coming towards the end, that's when it really, really starts to ramp up. People start scrambling for any position that they can get themselves into the next point in the playoff. So, looking to see some intense racing here tonight. Looking to see some maybe some aggressive moves out of some of these guys, but really we're just here for some door big and good action.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get intense up here for any additional playoff spots for sure.
All right, well, we're having a bit of an interesting thing with our camera selector, so while I try and figure that out, I'll let you guys take the mic, and I'll be right back.
Alrighty, well, tonight we got Blake O'Connell sitting on the pole to his outside Kurt Rittenberg. He is he is not currently locked in from what I heard. He's not locked into the chase. He's currently sitting just outside of it, but in one of the positions to get in through it. He's sitting on the outside. David Dolliber sitting in 3rd. Jeremy Bazemore sitting in 4th. Jeff Gilmore in 5th. Matthew Miller 6th. Scott Brotherton in 7th. Jimmy North in 8th, excuse me. Mike Montesi in 9th, and Mike Payton in 10th. And as we continue through our field, we're going to have Louis Robinette, I believe. If I butchered that name, I apologize. Louis Robinette in 11th, Ed Burrell in 12th, Cody Spiker in 13th, Randy Roberts in 14th, Mike A. Perry in 15th, Matthew Cox 16th, James McKee 17th, Chris Jennings in 18th, Tam Cato in 19th, Michael Sunick in 20th, and Brian Cyberry in 21st, Jeremy Rittenberg 22nd, Richard Fletcher 23rd, Kevin Massey 24th. That's going to round out your whole field, Michael. We're getting ready to have one heck of a race. I'm going to let you call the green flag if we're going 1 to green this time.
All right, yeah, I apologize about that. Being a rookie at this, I forgot to hit my button. But yeah, we are coming down to it. Pace car is fixing to duck off pit road. The 67 O'Connell and the 00 Rittenberg are going to lead the field here as we are now going 1 to green.
Michael, any early picks before the race gets going?
I'll go out on a limb and I'll give the... I don't really know none of these guys, so I really don't know who to pick. I'll go with the 1.
With the 1? All right.
Jeremy Bazemore.
I hear you. He had a 17th practice time and a 4th qualifying time, so he really picked it up. Now I'm going to go with this one.
Base cars in. Green. And we are underway away from Richmond International Speedway as the 67 O'Connell will jump out to an early lead.
Right, the 67 jumps out to an early lead. The 23 tries to follow in suit. We're battling for second here. Everyone's still kind of side by side. We haven't gotten straightened out as the battle for second kind of comes down. The double O gets in front of the 23 going into turn 3 and 4 as the 67 jumps out to a sizable lead right off the bat.
Yeah, lap one's going to go to O'Connell. Rittenberg is going to run second. Dalabar third, and Bazemore still in the fourth position as they head down the back straightaway here at Richmond.
Right now, about the top 5 kind of leveling out. Right now, we've got one driver stuck on the high side. It's the 78 of Matthew Miller. He's going to finally fall in line behind the 7 of Mike Montesi. Here comes the 03 looking to his inside coming into turn 1. He thinks better of it, backs out. We pretty much have a straight line here through the top 10, but it looks like right now the leader of it is going to be the 67 of Blake O'Connell, who's already jumped out to about a 1-second lead over Kurt Rittenberg.
Yeah, I tell you what, as I'm back here, we got Blake O'Connell. He went right from the pole to point, well, stayed there, really. And he's already setting sail from the double O of Kurt there. And the 23 of David Dolliver behind. That's a TN Designs car up front. And, I mean, well, we got them all littered through the top 10 so far.
We got a little battle back here in the back between the 57 and the 7. Mike Monsetti, Mike Monteschi, and Jeff Gilmore. They're side by side back here.
Yeah, Mike Montesi put on a show last week at Darlington Raceway. He led most of the race, but towards the end of the race fell circumstance to the number 88 of Chris Jennings. And if you don't see Chris Jennings up at the front in the first part of this race, he's got to be one of the stronger drivers out here, but he had to start from the back due to having the wrong number as he came into the sim. He's normally in the 88. He came in tonight as the 99 accidentally, so he had to go to the back. I at least expect him to be up in the front. He won last week. He's got like 7 wins on the season. He's going to be one to watch.
Yeah, it looks like the biggest mover of the race right now is Monteschi, as he started at 9th and is currently 6th, as well as Louis Robinet, as he started 11th. He's currently 8th. So those two guys are making their way to the field, it looks like.
And we've got one of our in-race supporters through the grass. That's Jimmy North in the number 84 Cobalt Silverado. He got loose out of turn 4 there. Just couldn't hang on to it.
Yeah, boys, as I look up here in front, the double O of Kurt Rittenberg was catching the 67 of Blake O'Connell. He actually got the lead down to 5/10. He actually ran him down from 8/10 back, but a lap car kind of got in the way and still hasn't, still kind of hindered the double O right now. He's fallen back to about a second back, but the double O was catching the 67 as a caution comes out.
Yeah, we've got a caution out. We'll go ahead and look through the field if you guys have a number. We're doing this the old-fashioned way. Just got a couple of buttons to cycle through cameras and cars, so we might take him.
Looks like the 08 of Mike Payton.
Alrighty, we'll be looking for the 08 here. There he is. Go ahead and take a look at that if we can do so.
Yeah, it looks like he goes into one and just gets a bad approach on the corner and it comes out from underneath him. Good job from everybody avoiding him.
Yeah, he had just fallen in behind one of our other in-race reporters, Chris Jennings, on the number 99. And coming out of turn 1, these trucks have a lot of rear brake to start out for this these track conditions tonight. The truck is very loose on entry with the stock rear brake. He gets a tap there from the 43. 43 just had nowhere to go as Mike started to come back down the track. They should be able to continue, both of them, without too much damage, but that's an early setback for both of them.
Yeah, just unfortunate for the 08. I think he's just kind of falling back, trying to get a good feel for the track, trying to see what his truck can do, what the tires can do, how he can run it. Just unfortunate getting in. Andrew, as you and I kind of saw, we kind of jumped into this practice session earlier in the race, or earlier in the practice, excuse me. We tried out these trucks, and it's hard getting into these corners. It's hard getting into the line that you want and constantly running it lap after lap, and it just victim of circumstance there for the 08.
Yeah, and as you were talking about how the truck was feeling, adding to my points, we watched the battle off pit road there. Blake O'Connell will keep the lead over Kurt Rittenberg and David Dolliver. We'll go ahead and take a quick commercial break, and we'll show you a nice ad made by our own Zach Lindgren for the NMNTS Racing Series. Obviously, no disrespect here to the ASSR. Just have these couple of commercials, and we're working on getting more, so go ahead and take a view, take a listen. And again, this is made by our very own Zach Lindgren. Alright, and we are back from commercial break. We are coming to 1 to green, this time by out of turn 4. As we mentioned, Blake O'Connell kept the lead over the 00 and the 23. Behind them is the number 3 of Scott Brotherton in 4th, then Mike Montesi 5th, Jeff Gilmore 6th, Matthew Cox 7th, Ed Burrell 8th, Cody Spiker 9th, and Chris Jennings has made it all the way up to 10th already. As we mentioned, he's going to be one to watch tonight. We're coming to the restart this time by Michael. I think you are certainly the most enthusiastic one out here. I'll go ahead and let you call this restart.
All right. Yeah, I try to put a little excitement into the restarts and starts. But as we're pacing down the back straightaway, getting ready to go green here. O'Connell, Rittenberg on the front row for the restart. Pace cars in. And O'Connell's on the gas. We are back under green here at Richmond. O'Connell's going to step out to about a truck and a half length over Rittenberg. Dollibar's going to run it up to 3rd, to 23. And O'Connell is just pulling away.
And as we didn't see in the first one, the 00 had a little bit of trouble getting on the start. This time he actually stuck with the 67 just a little bit better than he did the previous time. He's already backed up a little bit to 4/10, but he's already in better shape than he was the first time, or on the first start, excuse me. Cycle through the field here. It looks like the top 10 is leveled out pretty much. The 00 is kind of taking an unorthodox line here. He's kind of running the low to middle. He's not running completely on the line as he does this time. The 7 takes the 23 for 4th, I believe. Mike Montesi up to P4.
Yeah, Montesi is on the move. Is once again, I made an earlier rookie mistake as I was talking with my mic button not pushed, but Montesi up in the wall. The 23 is going to tag him in the back. He's losing all kinds of ground. Oh, we've got a turn. Trouble. Caution is out.
It just looks like a bottle up going into one, and just everyone was trying to get slowed up and having respect for everyone else and just got into one another. Let me see who that was.
Yeah, it looked like we had maybe the 23 getting into the 04. One way or another around there we saw, yeah, the 23 got backed up by the 7 as he got into the wall. Then into turn 1, Matthew Cox maybe tried to pull down in front of the 23. 23 maybe had the later entry, wasn't expecting the 04 there, and they just made contact.
Yeah, definitely the 23 wasn't expecting the 04 to come down, I don't think.
And just great wreck avoidance by the 17. I got to give a hat off to that, to Ed Burrell. He was on the brakes, his front tires locked up and everything, and he still was able to miss that wreck, and it happened right in front of him too. The 23 was sliding up, the 04 was sideways up in front of him, and the 17 walks away with 0 contact out of it.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and watch pit stops here on the screen as we try and catch up with our in-race reporter, Jimmy North. He was the one that we saw going through the grass a little bit earlier, but Jimmy North, as we bring you back into the booth, what can you tell us about the track so far? We saw you go through the grass out of turn 4, but what can you tell us about how it's feeling now that we've got race conditions and the track starting to take rubber?
It's actually feeling a lot better than what it was in practice. Yeah, we had a little oopsie there off of 4. Just got to the gas a little too hard, you know. Got a long race ahead of us yet, just kind of getting ahead of ourselves. But glad we didn't hit anything and had that caution come out, and then got 4 fresh tires, and now we decided to stay out here and gain some track position.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely looking like these guys are getting a better handle on the trucks. Michael, Zach, anything you want to ask Jimmy North while he's up here?
Yeah, Jimmy, this is Zach up here in the booth. I just got to ask, is there any type of strategy that you're trying to play out, if you don't mind me asking? Like, if you don't want to talk about any strategy right now, that's fine. But is there anything going through your mind right now to maybe pick up a few more positions, get up there in front, and battle with these guys?
Well, it depends on how many cautions we get. There might be like maybe 2 tire strategies, just taking right sides and fuel, or maybe no fuel at all and kind of loosen it up just a little bit. It's just a little bit tight on entry. So that's kind of one of the strategies that I've been playing in my mind.
Alrighty. Well, we hope to see you get up there in front. After that little hiccup, we know that you're going to be driving the wheels off of her. So we hope to see you up there in the front. And good luck on the rest of the night, bud.
Alrighty, thank you much.
All right, and that was once again Jimmy North, one of our 2 in-race reporters tonight. We thank him for coming on board with us, helping us out. We've also got Chris Jennings out there, like we mentioned. And now we're getting ready to come to 1 to green this time by as the field comes through 3 and 4 under the pace field. This time on the restart, we're going to be on board with TN Designs driver Cody Spiker in the number 19. He'll be restarting 3rd, behind Scott Brotherton in the 3 on the outside, and Blake O'Connell still on point in the number 67 on the inside.
And real quick on Chris Jennings, I mean, this man started 18th, I believe, and he is right now sitting 4th, right behind the 19, the 3, and the 67. This guy was 2nd fastest in practice. Be looking for him to make some moves and possibly get himself up here in the front on this green flag.
Oh yeah, I mean he put the show on at Darlington. Him and Mike Montesi each really, but it ended up being Chris Jennings at the end as he was able to outlast at number 7. And as we come back to the restart, Michael Redding, if you would like, you have the call.
All right, we're set to go back green. I got to make mention, though. I got to give it to Jeff North. He gave some pit strategy out. Wonder if anybody was listening. Pace car's in. O'Connell is fixing to fire off, and he's off, and we're back underway here at Richmond. O'Connell, once again, is stepping out in the lead over Scott Brotherton. This time, it's not as big of a jump as the last one, as Brotherton starting to try to reel him in here.
Yeah, it looks like that 3 has a pretty good handle on the track, just like Blake does. We see Cody Spiker give the spot up to Chris Jennings from 18th, now into 3rd.
The 3 got a fantastic run out of 4 there. The 3 was really even coming out of 4. The 67 looked like he was right against the wall. 3's going to have a better run out of 2. We're getting ready to have a battle for the lead here as the 3 pulls up to the bumper, the 67.
Yeah, right now, overall, the 3 is better. Oh, we got trouble. The
99 around.
Yeah, and we were just praising him. He went from the back all the way to the front. We'll go ahead and see what happened there. We were actually watching the 3 as it looked like maybe Blake O'Connell would have his first opposition all night, but now we'll go ahead and catch up on that. We'll go ahead and skip backwards here, see what happened going into turns 3 and 4.
It just looked like he got on the silent pedal there a little bit too hard, and the back end just started stepping out on him. Smart driving by him to get out of the racing groove, step on the brakes, make sure he doesn't hurt anybody else's truck or his truck. So that's a really smart driving by him, even though he's spinning. That's still some smart driving. But, that's some good driving.
Yeah, good avoidance by the rest of the field as well.
Yeah, you know, a lot of NASCAR drivers always make a point of it. Normally when you spin out on a track like this, especially, you want to stay in the gas, spin it around. That way you get control quicker. and you don't really get into any walls. You have less chance of getting the wall anyway. But that time, it was better for him to jam up on the brakes, maybe slide up the track a little bit. We're going to go back to commercial break right here. We're going to show you one more of Zach's commercials for NMNTS, and we'll continuously cycle through these in our in-race reporters throughout the night. So we're going to take one more commercial break, and we'll be right back.
In this cauldron of fiery wills and burning competition, rivalries heat up quicker. This is an oval of stolen victories and crushed dreams, filled with volumes of unfinished business. Sooner or later, you all become rivals. With everyone fighting over one finish line, there's never enough glory to go around.
All right, and as we saw that shorter one there, that was for the upcoming NMNTS Truck Series Hunt that's coming up. That is the BA Graphics Hunt for the Cup. And we're back here. We're coming to, I believe, 1 or 2 to go, possibly 2 to green. And, the front hasn't changed a whole lot. Looks like it's just going to be Blake O'Connell in control for this first part of this race.
I gotta say, Cody Spicer started 13th. He's moved to 3rd. He's the man on the move right now.
Yeah, but we did see that last restart, the 99 got right by him, so maybe he doesn't have the strongest truck, but he's certainly playing these cautions to his advantage. We also see Matt Miller. He's kind of come out of nowhere. He started around 10th, I believe, and now he's up into 4th, just being quiet back there in the number 78 TN Designs Chevrolet Silverado.
Yeah, he was having a little bit of trouble at the start of the race, just getting down to the low line, it looked like. But as soon as he did, it looks like his trucks came to life. So maybe on this restart, if he gets down to the low line early, we might be able to see him get himself up to the front. As I'm going to keep my eye on the 00 here, see if he can get himself back into 2nd place.
Yeah, as you mentioned that, once these guys go green here in another lap, as we're coming to 1 to green this time, we're going to go ahead and go on board with Kurt Rittenberg. Last time we were on board with the 19. Time before that, we went on board with Jeff Gilmore. This time we'll be on board with Kurt Rittenberg in the 00, and we'll see what he sees.
All right, the pace car lights are out. We're going green next time by. Blake O'Connell and Brotherton on the front row. Row number 2 will be Cody Spicer and Matthew Miller, the 2 guys that are kind of on a move right now. As we're approaching turn 3, pace car's fixing to drop off, and the action is fixing to get intense. Pace car's making its way off, and O'Connell wasted no time that time as we're back underway at Richmond. O'Connell has pulled out to about a 2-car advantage over Brotherton. Spicer's looking under Brotherton now. He tried to. The racing behind him is really picking up as we're getting side by side as O'Connell lead
the
him out in turn
17's
number 3.
losing it on the backstretch in front of the field. Sorry to cut you off, Michael. He collects another driver.
We've got a big junk in the back. We've got a big junk in the back, guys.
Used car sell in turn 3.
Yeah, that was a big junkyard going into turn 3. When cars get sideways on the back straightaway here at Richmond, there's really nowhere to go. And, we saw a perfect example of that time. We're going to go ahead and skip backwards here, try and see what happened to the 17. And, yeah, he just gets loose out of turn 2. That's one thing I mentioned with my team. As I mentioned last week, I own TN Designs Autosport here. I try not to be biased here, but, we were talking about how loose it is coming up out of turn 2 on the top, and we saw there, the banking falls away, and the truck gets really loose, gets really unsettled.
Yeah, and even Jeff North was involved in that.
Yeah, the 84 got a hard hit. He hit the 17. It lifted his front wheels off the ground entirely. It's just a hard impact for the 84.
And while we were reviewing, we've got a change for the lead as Scott Brotherton now has the lead.
Yeah, and a little bit of a change for a lead right here. Oh, it looks like the 67 might be having a little bit of an internet issue that might be setting off our Oh, as the 67 comes in, my apologies. The 67 came in. I wasn't on live. I was on replay. That's my apologies.
Yeah, so we watched that replay there. We saw maybe, it looked like Jimmy North just ended up getting the front end of the 17 as he spun around and ended up doing a pop wheelie down the back straightaway. Like you might see a Monster Jam, and tell you what, these are definitely the wrong kinds of trucks to be doing that in.
Most definitely.
Well, one of our in-race, both of them actually, both of our in-race reporters were in that one. Chris Jennings was almost through it, just barely got clipped on the right side and sent his truck up the track. He didn't get into the wall or anything. He did have a little bit of back-end issues, but he just barely got clipped by it, spun the truck around, got stopped on the track, and got re-going again. But both of our in-race reporters was involved there.
Yeah, and so just as a precaution in case they're maybe disappointed with the events that went on there, we're going to give them a caution to, I guess, just make sure they're calm before we bring one of them back up in the booth. I think we'll go to Chris Jennings next, though.
Yeah, I agree.
So now as we should be coming to 1 to green this time by, we've got Scott Brotherton out front, followed by Cody Spiker in the number 19, Matthew Miller in the 78, Kurt Rittenberg in the 00, and I believe James McKee in the 5.
James McKee started 17th, 26th fastest on the practice list. He's currently sitting top 5. So maybe he has something for us that we didn't see.
I tell you what, I think Brotherton, if he gets out front on this restart and this thing stays green, he could pull away big time on the field.
Yeah, as Zach and I were mentioning practice earlier, in talking with Matthew Miller and some of the other TN Designs guys, none of them really seemed confident. We didn't get to talk to Blake. He came in a little bit later, so I didn't expect him to be up there, but none of them seemed confident, and we've got 2 of them right behind Scott Brotherton this time on this restart. It seems like as the track takes rubber, his truck is doing the best, and Michael, once more, will go ahead and give you the call.
Yeah, his pace car's fixing to duck off. He's down. And Brotherton takes off. We are back underway here at Richmond. As they head off into turn number 1, it's going to be the 78 of Matthew Miller making a move. We're getting 3 wide behind them.
Yeah, we saw the top 3 easily file out there to single file, but back behind them, around the top 10 breakaway there, it's 3 wide. We've got the 10, 04, and 03, all 3 wide out of turn 4. These guys are definitely jockeying for position in the back.
Don't look now. Here comes the 67 on fresher tires. He wasn't a part of that 3 wide, but as soon as the 3 wide got dismantled a little bit, he was already on top of it. Look out for the 67.
Yeah,
the old Brotherton is up almost in the wall. He's racking in front of the field.
And yeah, he spins around. Not sure if the 19 got damaged. As he mentioned, the 78 made contact, had nowhere to go. We're going to go ahead and watch that back a couple of times and hopefully be able to bring in Chris Jennings this time.
Yeah, just wiggled on him going in the 3 there. He tried to gather it up going up the racetrack, and it still come out underneath him.
Yeah, we've been talking about practice all night long. Zach and I, like we say, got a chance to practice, put down quite a few laps, and if you get on the brakes too hard, you really do you spin around. There's so much rear brake bias in these trucks that shouldn't really be there that you really have no other choice but to try and catch it up the track, maybe into the wall, try and keep from coming back down in front of the entire field. That time, Scott Brotherton didn't have much of an option in the Rims 1 Chevrolet. He spun it around, did minimal damage to himself and the 78 and 19. It looks like both of them are going to smartly come into the pits, make sure they're totally fine as far as damage and whatnot goes, maybe get some tires as well, maybe some gas, see if they can play some strategy, as we're going to bring up in-race reporter Chris Jennings. All right, so Chris Jennings, we saw you take an early spin there, and then we saw you get a little bit of damage on a couple of cautions ago. We were waiting for a chance to talk to you, and you might not be too upset. Don't know if you were or not, but hopefully you aren't. As we get to talk to you now, how's everything feeling now that we're in we're good ways into the race? You've seen some action, and just again, how's it feeling tonight?
Yeah, I don't know, man. We can't really seem to get a run going. I self-spun that one. Truck's just a handful tonight, it seems like.
Yeah, Zach and I were out there practicing with you. We got quite a few laps in, and we noticed right away there's a lot of rear brake bias in these trucks for the setup that they're on and the race conditions that you have tonight. So it's pretty easy to spin these things around, especially if you aren't prepared. But I wouldn't say you're ill prepared at all. Obviously we see you going from 18th or so all the way up to the front here in the top 5 once again. We'll see what you can do here on this restart. What's your course of action, I guess, going forward for this race, if you don't mind sharing?
I'm just going to try to get up front here and stay clean, get out of this traffic, and hopefully not lock them up again on entry.
All right. Well, thank you for spending some time up here and volunteering to be one of our in-race reporters tonight. Zach, Michael, anything you want to ask him before we move him back up?
Hey, Chris, this is Zach in the booth up here. We saw you get into some early trouble up there in the front after self-spinning, and then again on that big pile up on the backstretch. I just got to know, what's the best aspect for your truck that you're just beating everybody else on? I mean, you've gone to the back a few times, but again, you've driven yourself up to the front and put your name into the top 5. What's the best part of the track for you right now that you're beating everybody else on?
I'm not sure. I've raced here a lot. Tonight just seems the track conditions are a little bit different, but other than that, everything's the same. So kind of used to this track. It's one of my favorites.
Alrighty, well, we hope the best for you, bud. We hope you don't get into any more self spins or cautions or anything like that. We hope you have a good night, and we hope to see you at the end of this race.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and once more, that was our second of 2 in-race reporters, Chris Jennings. As we come around 3 and 4 for the restart this time, let's take a moment to thank our couple of sponsors out there from ASSR. That's Oliver Mobile Fleet Repair and Scott Brothers and Images. As we're back for the restart, number 1 on point, that's Jeremy Bazemore, Kurt Rittenberg to his outside. They're green, and the number 1 takes no time to get back to the gas.
You had to steal the thunder from Michael, didn't you?
It'll be all right. We've got a battle back here for, looks like the 4th and 5th position between Gilmore, Jennings, and O'Connell.
Yeah, immediately Blake O'Connell right back to it. He's already back into, it looks like, 3rd behind Matthew Cox and Jeremy Bazemore in the number 1. And he might get that spot here from 2nd place here real soon. He's going into turn 3 on the inside of the 04. He's going to try and make the move. Outbreaks Matthew Cox into the corner. Kurt Rittenberg might be trying to follow the hole.
Going around again. The 99's around.
We were just talking to him. Oh, and he gets destroyed by Mike Montesi. Yeah, we were just talking to him. It looked like maybe at first he'd have minimal damage, and it looked like maybe the 7 didn't see him, didn't have time to check up. That might be the night for the 99.
See what happened here. It looked like he just got onto the silent pedal just a little bit too much. He might have had a little bit help going into 3.
Yeah, we're going to watch this one in our slow-mo this time. He definitely had help from Jeff Gilmore. Looks like maybe Jeff just overdrove the corner a little bit. He definitely tried to miss Chris Jennings as best as he could, but he definitely got into him a little bit there. And again, it looked like maybe he would have minimal damage, get out of this one pretty clean. Just a little bit of a scrape from the number 5 going by on the bottom. And then, all of a sudden, there was the 7. Yeah, the 23 ducked out just in time to where the 7 didn't have anywhere to go. Likely didn't see the 99 spun out backwards in the track there and just had nowhere to go but right in the front of Chris Jennings.
And over the radio, the 57 came over and said it was his fault. He got in a little bit too hot. It looked like the car behind him as well, the 03 of Louis Robinette, got in a little too hot as well. Maybe he was trying to compensate for that and just couldn't get checked up enough not to get into the 99, but the 57 came over the radio and apologized for it.
Yeah, we see the 99 now in the pits. He's got a bunch of damage to that truck. It's going to be a while before we see him back on track, I do think. But the good news is we still got a battle up front. We see Scott Brotherton coming out of pits here, and that rim is one to Chevrolet. And as we go back up to the front of the field, we'll see who's in the lead.
It's going to be Jeremy Basemore, my pick. Started in the 4th position. Moved his way to the lead now, but it's not going to last long because once we get back to racing, O'Connell's probably going to gobble him up on those fresher tires.
Yeah, I think on fresher tires.
Yeah, I think up until that point, the 3 strongest trucks had to be the 99, the 3, and the 67. It looks like maybe one of those is eliminated from that kind of competition for tonight. As we've got Blake O'Connell still outside of the 1 here for this restart. I think he's going to go right on by him. And I mean, he's just had one of the strongest trucks all night. He's definitely on it. He's got this place figured out. And I wouldn't be surprised to be talking to him after the race as part of the top 3.
Yeah, right now I got to give a nod to another Rittenberg out there, but this one ain't Kurt. It's Jeremy. He started 25th, or I believe he started 25th right now, just outside the top 5. Right, we could see the 26 start to break in. We've seen some guys just slowly but surely make their way up into the top 10 and possibly be contenders right here for the race win.
Some good 2 and 3 wide action on the restart back there. But we are set, fixing to come down to the 1 to green. Pace car lights are out.
Yeah, we'll be taking the restart this time. Michael, I'll let you have your thunder back, I suppose. We're going to go on board, though, with probably the number 26 of Jeremy Rittenberg. Heard Zach mentioning him. We'll go ahead and give him a little bit of his own thunder here tonight on this restart as we go on board with him.
Yeah, let's see what happens on this restart if Bazemore can pull out and if he can hang on to it as we're headed down the back straightaway getting ready to go green. Pace car about to make its way on the pit road. And Bazemore fires. We are underway once again here at Richmond International Raceway. And surprisingly, O'Connell did not get a good start as the 04 of Matthew Cox got underneath him and is going to make the pass.
Yeah, looks like we got a battle back here for 5th as the front 4 kind of level out. Front 5 actually level out. It looked like coming out of that corner, the 67 got into the wall just a little bit. I might be mistaken, but it looked like coming out of 2, he might have just tapped the wall.
And everybody's starting a single file now as O'Connell is going to look underneath the 04 now of Cox. He's trying, but it's just not quite there yet. As Cox is holding his own on the top line. And it looks like O'Connell's going to get the pass. Now the 03 was looking under him, but 04 of Cox cut him off. That's going to be Louis Robinette.
04 slam. He wanted to make sure he got that
trouble.
Line. Oh.
One in the wall back here. That's going to be the 19 of Cody Spicer. He was on the move earlier.
Yeah, we saw Cody Spicer get up to the top 5 a couple of restarts ago. We saw him doing his best to hold his own, and he gets the wall.
The backstretch.
And we got one around. We'll go ahead and look back, see what happened there to the 03. He was up there battling with the 04 Matthew Cox, so maybe some contact was made for Louis Robinette and the number 04 of Matthew Cox.
The 03 just lost it coming out of 2. He tries to get his tires locked up so he doesn't hit the inside wall. Makes a little bit of contact on it, but that's going to bring out the caution.
Yeah, he'd just gotten the pass completed and coming up out of the corner to the top. He still had some wheel in the truck trying to come up off the banking. All the weight went away, and as the weight transferred, it just sent him right around. He tried to get it locked down before getting the inside wall. Ends up tapping it a little bit with the left front. Put some damage on the left front of that number 03 Haviland Chevrolet. and he's going to continue on. Looks like he won't have too bad of damage, but that can definitely hurt maybe the radiator, some fans, something in the left front, and we'll have to document that.
Yeah, as they was about to come down pit road, it looked like O'Connell was trying to bait Bazemore into coming into pit road, but Bazemore did not fall for it as they both stayed out. I'm surprised to see Bazemore still out there on them old tires.
You know what, Bazemore, excuse me, Bazemore has held his own on every start, though. Every time a start comes up, he gets out to about a 4 or 5/10 second lead on every start. He holds it for a little while as the second place and third place kind of fight for it on the restart, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting to see how the 1 has kind of held off the 67 thus far, but we're going to have to see if the 67 can get a better restart than he did last time.
Yeah, right now, definitely the top side of the racetrack is not the place to be. You want to be right tucked on that yellow line. And if you get up below the first set of dotted lines, that's really a no man's position or no man's place right now. Is that's where we've seen a lot of trouble happen, is once they start trying to move up and make moves up there.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of turning into no man's land up there. It looked like maybe in practice it was going to be doable. Unfortunately, we didn't get to broadcast that part of things, but Zach and I were turning laps here to get an idea of what we'd be commentating on tonight. We were both running laps up on the higher side of the racetrack, not necessarily up by the wall, but definitely that middle groove, and it was holding pretty good, but I think as more rubber gets added to the bottom, that's going to be where the grip is. These guys can maybe run some lower brake biases, loosen the truck up a little bit, and manage with that rubber on the bottom. As we see Chris Jennings maybe get his repairs done, head back out on the track in the number 99. He's going to be quite a few laps down, though, as we'll probably focus on Jimmy North going forward.
I've got a little interesting information. We run a lot of short tracks on the iRacing servers here, and I'm pretty good at short tracks. And a lot of these guys like to run a lot of rear brake bias. I'm completely opposite. And a lot of people think I'm crazy for it, but I run an extreme amount of front brake on short tracks.
Okay, I gotta ask, why though?
That I cannot give away.
Oh, that's the Redding secret recipe right there.
Well, I'll tell you what, it makes it easier to lock up the front tires though when you do that. It does help some aspects of the handling. You're tighter on entry instead of being loose and being easier to spin out or spin yourself out, but there's adverse effects either way you go, whether you go with low brake bias or high brake bias. As we get ready to restart here, we got Jeremy Bazemore still on point, Blake O'Connell doing some blinking in P2, Matthew Cox still holding tough in P3, then Jeremy Rittenberg has made it all the way up to 4th, and that's going to be your top 4 going to the restart here in 3 and 4. Michael Redding, it seems like once again you're the best at it. Go ahead.
All right, the pace car's fixing to come in. Bazemore fires, and we're back underway once again here at Richmond. O'Connell got a little better start that time, but Cox is going to fight him on the bottom as we head into turn number 1. We're going to have a slow car, the 99 there. He has no issue. Bazemore comes up top. He's going to throw the block on the 67 O'Connell, but here comes Cox. He's going to look underneath the 67 and try to get the 1 of Bazemore.
Yeah, Matthew Cox trying to roll the bottom of turns 3 and 4 there. Doesn't quite get a whole lot of gain out of it, but he's going to be able to clear that 67 as Blake is stuck up in no man's land. Maybe that time the 04 got a run on the number 1 in turns 1 and 2 as he takes it down in turn 3 in P2. And that time he washes up, going to lose some time to the leader of Jeremy Bazemore.
Yeah, O'Connell's fixing to be under pressure by Roberts.
There's another name we haven't talked about either. Randy Roberts in the 09. He's bursted on to the top 5, and he stayed there, especially with Jeremy Rittenberg. And both of these guys had 14th qualifying time and 25th no qualifying time. So both of these guys have finally picked up something on the track that other drivers haven't just picked up on yet, and they're driving the wheels off the truck.
Yeah, and
the 67 goes under the 04.
Yeah, and I was expecting this change in the track. It happened at Darlington in the NMNTS Grand National Series race with the Xfinity cars. As soon as this track takes rubber, it's going to tighten up. You're going to be able to loosen your own truck up and really be able to play with things, and it's going to take to a whole kind of different driving style. We may see the 67 kind of lose some momentum, I guess, as you can put it, going into the latter stages of this race. Maybe he won't be able to adjust quite as well as some others, as we see, like you guys mentioned, the 09 and the 26 getting up there, mixing it up in the top 5. Maybe the track is taken to their liking now instead of Blake O'Connell's and Scott Brotherton's. The 04 runs wide there. The 09 is going to take advantage.
Yeah, no Bazemore. He's just pulling away from him. I thought once O'Connell cleared Cox that he might start chasing him in, but Bazemore's holding his own.
Yeah, and Bazemore's been able to hold up there, just kind of going from restart to restart. I think this is one of the longest runs we've had in a while. And so he's been able to just save his tires, whereas Blake O'Connell's been running with the 04 and the 03 and the 09 on various restarts trying to get his spots back up into P2. And, he's been running some grip out of the tires, maybe has the tires a little bit too hot, maybe a little bit too worn. So it's going to take him maybe a couple of cycles, a caution cycles, maybe a tire cycle to be able to get back and compete with the number one if he did run the tires a little bit too hard, and it looks like he has.
Yeah, he stretched it out to over a second lead now and continuing to pull. I seen a good battle back here a while ago between the 09 of Randy Roberts and Jeremiah Rittenberg in the 26. Rittenberg looks like he's on the move as well.
Yeah, Zach had brought him up just a few laps ago. The number 26 and the number 09 both working their way through the field. And they've been sitting there in 4th and 5th rather patiently trying to maybe find a spot or two as we're going to go through the field here. We've got the number 5, James McKee, in 6th. Scott Brotherton coming back up through the field. He's up into 7th. Jeff Gilmore behind him. Matthew Miller behind him in the number 78. Then we get back to Kurt Rittenberg rounding out your top 10. After that, we've got the number 03, number 23, number 19, number 34, number 93. And it's really just a big old gaggle of cars here, actually, as we watch this battle go on between the 34 and 93.
And as you was going through that, it looks like the 7 of Mike Montesi is going to put it behind the wall and call it a night.
Yeah, he did get some damage there along with Chris Jennings on that one caution where they made a bunch of contact. Not surprising to see him eventually drop out of this race. Unfortunate to see the two guys that put on the best show back at Darlington gone from this one early, but, at circumstances, thankfully Chris Jennings is well into the chase. He'll be fighting for a championship starting at Chicago next week. Mike Montesi didn't run enough races to be able to make contention, so he won't be there, but I expect to see more of him as the season goes on.
Oh, we got a car spinning on the backstretch. I wasn't able to catch the number. Caution's out.
Yeah, we'll cycle through the drivers until we get back to him.
Looks
here. It's
like
number 93.
93. Brian Saberi. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong.
Yeah, it looks like Brian Cybery maybe got loose out of turn 2 like we've seen so many drivers do tonight. Go ahead and take a look here. We're coming through turn 2 with the number 93, and yep, gets loose.
That was a hard lick.
And
that was a hard lick.
Yeah, that was a pretty hard hit into the inside wall, as Zach mentioned there. Looks like maybe the Autism Speaks number 93 might be done for the night as far as contending for too good of a finish, but hopefully we'll see him back here at Chicago next week, or maybe hopefully he doesn't have too bad a damage, but I think with a hit like that, it's going to end his night.
All right, well, I kind of got to ask now, does this kind of, since we're all coming into the pits now, the one of Bazemore getting some new tires finally on him and Blake O'Connell getting new tires on his truck, does this put the race back into O'Connell's favor, or with the power that we've seen out of Bazemore in the last few laps, does it put it in his favor?
I tell you what, Bazemore was taking care of his tires. It's going to be interesting to see if O'Connell gets the lead and we go on another long green flag run, if O'Connell can save his tires like Bazemore was.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it'd be worth asking maybe our other in-race reporter, Jimmy North, in the number 84 Lowe's Chevrolet, what he thinks on this this caution coming out, the timing. Jimmy North, this is Andrew up in the booth. What do you think of the timing of this caution and how it's going to affect the rest of the race?
Well, we had quite a bit of damage from that one wreck. We're way off pace. So, um, we're pretty underpowered right now. It's about all we got out here. Just try to pick up as many spots as possible. Seems to be getting better as far as grip on the track.
All right. Well, yeah, we definitely saw your wreck. You went up there, maybe trying to do a pop wheelie. It looked like, which, this isn't the kind of truck to do that in. That's a totally different kind of motorsport. But hopefully, we see you back here at Chicago with a good truck. Maybe get to talk to you then. For now, though, I maybe an in-race report occurred so far. We've talked to both you and Chris throughout the night, and both of you guys got in a couple of big wrecks. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully we see you back here at Chicagoland next week with a good fast truck, just like you had at Darlington. Hopefully we see you mix it up. And hopefully you can get a few more points tonight.
Yeah, definitely. That's what we're hoping for.
All right, well, I'll let you get back to nursing that hurt truck around this Richmond International Raceway. And I think that's probably going to do it as far as the in-race reporters. I don't think either of them will be able to give us much information with being maybe 20 miles an hour off the pace at this point in the race. Both with a good bit of damage there, but nice to be able to talk to them nonetheless and get some information early on, as we've still got Jeremy Bazemore out front, Blake O'Connell second, Matthew Cox third, Randy Roberts, I believe, in fourth, and James McKee in fifth.
Hey, that looks like Bazemore won the race off pit road. As the pace car lights are off, we're moving down the back straightaway. We're fixing to go green this time. The pace car is ducking off pit road. And we are underway with Bazemore with a good start.
Yeah, I tell you what, that number one just launched out to a huge lead already. We're going to follow Matthew Cox, Blake O'Connell, both back in a battle right again, just like we saw in the last few restarts. Number 67 down to the bottom of the racetrack, going to make the move in a turn 3, and he should clear him out of turn 4 here.
Yeah, Bazemore wants to see these guys racing behind him because he's going to stretch that lead out.
Well, we got a battle for fifth back here. We got the 09, the 3, and the 5. The 09's kind of slipping backwards a little bit, stuck on the high side. Looks like he's going to get pressure from the 26 coming into 3, and he gets back in line. Sorry to cut you off there, Andrew. What were you about to say?
Well, I was actually about to ask you what you were thinking about this restart, as you hadn't keyed the mic up in a while, but I guess I'll ask you now, what are you thinking about the number 67, number 1, and number 04 up in the front? Who do you think is going to come away with this one after about 5-10 more laps?
After about that,
we got Blake O'Connell wrecking in turn 4.
Turn
we saw
4.
him do the same thing that we saw some other guys do. Got in the brakes a little bit too hard in center and just lost it. Maybe he got the gas in center.
He did a very good job of keeping it together and keeping it out of the field, keeping the cautions coming out.
Yeah, for sure. That was a very good job of just, managing his losses there. We'll go ahead and take another look at that, as we just saw him do the same thing a lot of guys have done so far tonight. I don't know if maybe they're getting the gas in center and getting loose, or if it's the brakes.
I think it might be a little bit of a tight push issue where the car's not wanting to turn, and then you're overcorrecting it, trying to get it to turn. And caution is out. Caution is out on the speedway.
I think that one's going to be on the 23 of David Dolliver. It just looked like he looped it. Well, didn't really loop it out of 2. He just lost the back end, almost had it saved, and just overcorrected just a little bit too much.
That was a pretty good save.
Yeah, his nose was going right in for that inside wall. That was a really good save for that 23 truck.
Well, as we try and get a replay queued up, we're having a couple audio issues. Gonna go ahead and give you a commercial real quick while we straighten this out. We'll be right back, hopefully with a replay of that caution. All right, we're going to take a look here at this caution. We were able to get the audio sorted out. Now we're back with the number 23. We're going to see what happened here. Coming out of turn 2, like we've seen multiple guys do all night. Just got loose. He was able to lock it down, though, so good on him. Able to keep that truck out of further trouble. Able to keep from collecting anyone else in it. Definitely good job there. And who you got for the next 50 laps, Zach and Michael?
I'm sticking to my pick, Jeremy Bazemore.
Ah, man, I don't know. Jeremy Bazemore's one heck of a pick. He just gets that truck out there so far, and he keeps it. He keeps it up there in front. So I'm going to have to agree with you. I'm going to have to go with Jeremy Bazemore.
Well, seeing as how Chris Jennings and Blake O'Connell would have been my two go-tos tonight, and they're both out of running currently as Blake O'Connell comes back through the pits to get some damage fixed in that number 67. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick that number 3, Scott Brotherton. I think he's worked his way back through the field. I think now that he's here, he's going to be able to challenge that number 1. I would expect, as you know, we saw him able to just get out to a couple of good leads earlier in the race. Saw him able to challenge the number 67 with great success. So I really do think Scott Brotherton may have the truck to challenge Jeremy Bazemore, but if not, you know, I think you have to write that number 1 in as P number 1 on the night.
And I got to give David Dolliver the Evel Knievel save of the race so far.
I'll tell you what, that's an
Which one was
interesting
that?
that's an interesting name to give a save, considering Evel Knievel pulled stunts. But if I was to give an Evel Knievel award out, it'd be to that 84, I think, pulling that wheelie off in a turn 3. It sucks for Jimmy North, but it was definitely something to see. As we're coming to the green here, coming down the back straightaway, we're on Jeremy Bazemore for the restart. We've got his driver telemetry info up on the screen for everyone to see. And here we go.
Pace car off. We're getting set to go back green. As Bazemore will fire off, we're back underway at Richmond International Raceway. Well, the old 4 of Cox thought he was going to get a run off into 1. But once again, Bazemore slipped up a little bit off of 2. That's going to allow Cox to get closer to that bumper, but once again, as we head down the back straightaway, Bazemore gathers it up and drives back off. Man, that truck is so strong tonight.
Yeah, it looked like maybe for just a second Matthew Cox could have crossed him over, as we see Scott Brotherton make a move in that Rims 1 Chevrolet down underneath the 04 into turns 1 and 2. Randy Garbutt's trying to follow him, but it looked like maybe the 04 could have crossed him over, and then that number 1 got the launch out of turn 2, was able to pull right back away, and then through 3 and 4 really just took back command of this race and got out to a huge lead, although now it looks like maybe Scott Brotherton, like I said, has the truck. He's closing on that number 1. Zach, what do you think?
I don't know. Off of that restart. Oh, the 04 into the wall, loses it. He's going to stay in the wall. No caution comes out. It's going to bottle up the field a little bit, but before that little incident came up, it looked like the 04 was going to stick with the one off that restart. The 04 was on his quarter panel most of it, and looked like the 04 maybe would have had a run coming out of 2, and it just wasn't able to keep it stuck right there, and the 1 was able to drive off with the new tires.
It looked like Cox was pushing from the time we fired off on that restart. It looked like he was having issues with it pushing off the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, as Matthew Cox, the number 03 of Brian Cyber, are going to split the number 10. They check up on the bottom. The 10 almost just got pinched onto the apron, and I think that would have been possibly the end of the night for the 04 if the 10 didn't back out. But that was a great move by him. And I misspoke on the number 03. I believe that is Louis in the number 03. Apologies for that, but we've got Scott Brotherton giving some challenge here to the number 1 of Jeremy Bazemore. We'll see if he maybe can pull something off. He got back to his bumper a little bit earlier. Now he's running the top side. Maybe knows something we don't.
I'll tell you who's being silent and making their way through the field. That's the 5 of James McKee. We haven't mentioned his name tonight. He's already up to the 4th position as he started 17th.
Yeah, he's been sitting right around or just outside the top 5 for a while now.
Caution's out.
You see him getting back up there. As Zach mentions, there's a caution on the speedway. We'll go ahead and see what that's
It's going to
all
be
about.
the 08 of Mike Payton again in turn number 2.
And it
Just
looks
seems like turn number
maybe,
2 is harsh for him tonight.
Looks like maybe there's an issue with the 67 as he'll come down very slowly by the pit road, possibly entering. We're going to prioritize this replay with the number 08 first, though. We'll see what happens here out of turn 2.
Oh wait, just loses it going into 2, and then the 93 just kind of completed his spin. The 67 does a slide job through 1 and 2.
And
Yeah,
we
he
backed
did
up a while here. We got the number 08 underneath the 19 off down the straightaway here into 1. He gets on the brakes a little too hard. 93 has nowhere to go but into the back of the 08. And we see Blake O'Connell going for a bit of a drift, trying to make 1 and 2 without hitting either of those trucks up top. He ends up, I think, avoiding damage, though, and he'll continue on.
It looks like the field's going to come down for another round of pit stops. See who wins this race.
Yeah, we're already on the pit
Oh,
lane
we got
camera.
a car coming out, the 03.
That's the 03. He doesn't beat the 1 out.
Oh,
The
man,
3
that was
follows
close.
them, then the 09, the 5, and the 26. Here come the 00, 57, 10, 34, 23, 19, and 78. So that was a mouthful there, but we saw a battle coming out of the pits. The 1 just barely beat the 03 out. Looks like maybe the 03 took a 2-tire call.
Yeah, it looks like he took like 2
And
tires.
he's going to go pretty much from 0 to hero. Hopefully he can keep it up there, maybe mix it up. And we'll see how that's going to affect the restart for Scott Brotherton. And as he's back in the 3rd place, I'm not sure if that's going to be good or bad for him.
I mean, as soon as he got to the back bumper of the 1, he just kind of stayed there. He didn't really have a run, but he wasn't really losing anything. Maybe he's trying to pace himself with the 1. Be trying to save some tires, maybe coming down towards the end of it, as we are approaching about 35 to go.
Yeah, we're right about at the century mark for this race, and it really, the momentum shifted from about halfway into this first 100 laps. It looked like maybe it was going to be the 3 and 67 out front most of the night, but now we've got the number 1 leading a whole bunch of laps. He's led a good portion, probably most of this race actually. He's got the momentum on his side. He's going to be restarting first once again, and honestly, I don't know how you could bet against him right now.
I agree.
He is pretty tough. Looks like the 26th, Jeremy Rittenberg, he started in 25th. He's moved to 6th, and he's been staying there. It doesn't look like he's been able to gain any ground, but he certainly hasn't lost any ground either.
Yeah, we saw him try and mix it up a little bit earlier. He was, just trying to keep tabs with the leaders. I think he's done a good job of that. Hopefully he can maybe get a top 5 spot, but he's got a battle with James McKee for that 5th spot. And I believe his brother Kurt Rittenberg back there in the 00 right behind him. And then Jeff Gilmore will round out your top 8 in the number 57.
Another driver that we haven't really mentioned, the 23 of Michael Sunick.
Well, in 23, I believe we've got David Dolliber there, but we're going to come to the restart here in 3 and 4 this time by, as we're going to watch Jeremy Bazemore, hopefully, for his sake, hold these guys off once more. We'll see Scott Brotherton try and make a run at him. And the 03 try and hang on to the top, maybe get a spot or 2 out of this. Strategy call with the 2 tires. Michael, it's yours.
All right, the pace car's down. We're underway as Bazemore caught the 03 of Robinette sleeping a little bit, looks like. So he's going to jump out to the lead. The 3 of Brotherton, he's going to try to chase down Bazemore. So they head off to turn 2.
Looked like the 09 was going to force a 3 wide there on that restart.
Yeah, Randy Roberts was trying to take advantage of the 03 getting caught sleeping, but he wasn't able to. James McKee, that moves him up into 4th position. The number 03 of Louis Robinette's going to hold tough in 3rd. That 2-tire call working so far, and here we've got Scott Brotherton challenging Jeremy Bazemore for the lead.
Yeah, it's getting a little interesting back here in the back with Cody Spicer in the 19 and the 04 of Matthew Cox, as they was 3 wide with the 78 of Matthew Miller just a minute ago.
Yeah, Matthew Cox. Oh, we got Blake O'Connor round
Oh!
behind them. And the 93.
The 67 half spun.
The
And
03 also has
the
spun
90
coming off too as well.
We're
The
still
93
green.
is stuck in turn 2. He's
And
not moving.
This has to be a caution here in just a moment. It hasn't
Here
come
comes
yet.
the leaders.
It hasn't come yet. Nope. There it is. There it is. We got a caution.
Wow.
That was definitely
Wow.
close. That
Oh,
was
man,
definitely almost a missed call on iRacing's part.
If I was Bazemore, I would probably be having a heart attack about right now, not knowing what the 93 was fixing to do.
We'll go
I
ahead
know
and get a view on this. You were just mentioning the guys ahead of him. Well, that was going to be Cody Spiker and Matthew Miller and Matthew Cox all battling ahead. Then it looks like maybe the 67 tried to brake to keep from getting into the 40. Loses it. 93 tries to check up. Gets the wall as he loses it on the inside of turns 1 and 2. Maybe got the apron to help him around as well. And then just couldn't get it spun back around in time. And the leaders were coming quick. We'll get a view of just how close they were before the caution came out. And if I was Jeremy Bazemore, I would need some new shorts.
I tell you what, it's been a rough go for the 93 tonight of Brian Sudbury.
Yeah, we saw him earlier come out of turn 2, lose it, get into the wall, and that time he loses it in turns 1 and 2, right about in the center. And that time I think it's going to do a lot more damage to the truck. Hopefully, though, he can try and make a comeback and salvage the night. As this time, Scott Brotherton is going to be up top, and we've got the number 5 of James McKee going to be on the bottom, right behind Jeremy Bazemore with the number 09 of Randy Roberts to his outside, and it looks like the 26 of Jeremy Rittenberg will complete your top 5.
And you know, something we haven't seen at all during any of these restarts is the top line being able to stick with the leader going in turn 1 at least. I mean, the top line might not prevail coming out of 2, but we haven't even seen the second place driver stick with the starter of each restart. So it's going to be interesting to see if the 3 is going to be able to stick with the 1 upcoming this next restart.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious to how much does the 5 have? Has he been saving, just holding his cards, not showing his hand? We're about to find out.
He's definitely been strong. He's put himself up in the top 3. We're going to have to see if he's got a little something for these guys.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, we're going to be coming around to 1 to green this time, I do believe. And as you guys were mentioning, the outside line hasn't looked very good on these restarts, but I think if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be that number 3 of Scott Brotherton. It looks like his Rims 1 Chevrolet has been decent up top. Maybe not quick. We're going to have one more lap of caution here, but it looks like he's been the best up top, I should say, out of anyone trying to run it. No one's been good yet, but it looks like he's done the best up there. Maybe he can hold that second place off from James McKee, get in behind the 1 of Jeremy Bazemore, and make another run at the lead.
You know what, if he could hold the 1 off the top coming out of the corner, he might have a little something going into the next corner. He might have a run because, I mean, momentum here is going to be everything. And if you can hold off the guy that has the momentum, then you're probably in the best position to get that position that you're battling for. So I think if the 3 can stay with the 1 going into turn 1 and coming out of 2 and keep the 1 not floating up to the wall, I think the 3 is going to have the best chance of taking the lead here.
Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind as we get the 1 to green sign this time by is Jeremy Bazemore. If he has the number 3 of Scott Brotherton to his outside out of turn 2, that's going to mean he has to put that much more wheel into the truck out of the corner as the banking falls away from the back of the truck. And he's going to have to try and manage the looseness, really, because the way it's going to fall away, he's got a lot of wheel in the truck still to stay off the number 3 to exit lower. And it's going to be harder for him to hang on, probably get loose out of turn 2, as we've seen a lot of guys do.
All right, we're getting ready to see the pace car duck off on the pit road as we're getting ready to fire them off again. Bazemore fires off. We're back underway.
We saw a
Bazemore.
bobble there from the 09. They keep it straight for now, but that was definitely a moment. And I'll tell you what, the heart rate of everyone behind that just went up.
Bazemore wasting no time getting out in front.
Yeah, Jeremy Bazemore right back at it. We see Scott Brotherton trying to hang on, isn't able to do it just yet. It looks
Caution's
like
out.
it's going to be
Caution is out.
number one, as you guys mentioned.
It's
We've
going
got
to
the
be Blake
caution.
O'Connell.
And we will cycle back through the field to get back to the number 67.
Came out from underneath him in turn 3 and tried to gather it up in the transition between 3 and 4, but looped her around. Everybody did a great job of avoiding him.
Yeah, we see him here stopped in the pits, maybe calling it a night. Hopefully not. Even if he gets a few laps down, it'd be nice to see him get back out there. But we're going to take a look at this caution here.
It just looks like ever since he got into the wall battling for the lead a few laps ago, his truck has just not been the same. I mean, each caution that we've seen after that, he wasn't involved in it, but we've seen him either sliding to make sure he's not in it or just sliding in general. So I don't think his truck's been the same ever since he got into the wall after that initial contact with the wall.
Yeah, he's going to take it behind the wall and call it a night, looks like.
Yeah, that he is, which, yeah, as Zach just mentioned, that's very unfortunate to see. But, you know, he was having a pretty rough night. Hopefully we'll see him back here at Chicago next week. But as we go on, we've got the number 1 Haas Chevrolet to focus on. That's Jeremy Bazemore still out front. Led probably the most laps all night. He's really done a great job out front. Held this lead on all these restarts from Blake O'Connell, Brian Cybery, Scott Brotherton, you name it, he's defended them pretty much. I mean, he's done a great job out there just maintaining these restarts, keeping the truck underneath him, and again, I don't think you can bet against him.
Well, guys, y'all have raced against me for a while now. And you know that if I was in the top lane on a restart, what do you think would happen going into turn 1? What am I known for?
Being Evel Knievel.
I'm sorry, what was that? If you're on the outside?
If I was the 3 truck right now and I was restarting with Bazemore, what's the one thing that I would probably do on a restart?
I'll tell you what, I'd be expecting you to time that restart best as you can, and if you're still on my outside going into turns 1 and 2, you're going to pinch me down, and
Yeah.
I would do the same exact thing.
Yeah, I would do the same thing.
I would probably do that, but tonight, seeing how the track conditions are, I would probably try to do the crossover off of 2.
Yeah, but you know, I think it's going to be tough to be able to do that with everyone barreling down on you, especially with the inside being able to start better than the outside. It's going to be really tough for that number 3 to get the spacing back to James McKee to be able to slow it down up top, cut down low, and get the run out of the corner.
Well, I mean, not even that. I mean, coming out of each and every restart, the one's been able to get back up to the high side and get a good diamond into the corner, get a good run into it. If the 3's able to keep the one on the low side going into the corner, then, I mean, I see exactly what you're talking about, Michael. Make sure that he gets in a little hot, you check up a little early, and just get a beautiful run off the corner to catch him. But I just don't think that the one's going to give up that kind of time on a restart. I mean, each and every launch that he's had, he's gone off to about a 3 truck space. So I don't know. I see what you're talking about, but I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to pull it off.
Yeah, you know, I think the biggest defining factor is, you know, the 3's fast, we know that. But if you look at the 1 and the 3, what's the big difference between those 2 trucks? There's not a single dented up part of the number 1 on there. I mean, he's kept it out of the wall, he's kept it out of the trucks, he's kept it straight. He hasn't faulted at all tonight. He's been keeping that lead, and nothing against Scott Brotherton in the number 3, but Jeremy Bazemore really has been perfect. I mean, it's going to be hard for anyone to be able to challenge him on these restarts, especially with him having the control over the restart and when the field goes. It's just going to be, I think, too hard to be able to get a launch on him.
Well, we're about to find out.
Yeah, as we'll give the mic back to Michael Redding, we've got Jeremy Bazemore leading Scott Brotherton and Jason McKee to the restart. Pace car in.
We are underway as Bazemore wasted no time as he's going to pull out to a 2 to 3 truck advantage.
Third.
Yeah, 3 wide back
We
here.
see a big
the
checkup. Cody
03
Spiker
to
got hit
19.
by the 03. They'll continue on, but Cody Spiker definitely got a bit of big contact as we'll keep the focus on the two leaders here. The number 09, Randy Roberts, trying to keep tabs with them, but the number 1 leads the 3, and I think if Scott Brotherton is going to win this race, it's honestly going to come down to a late race restart, him restarting 3rd, not 2nd, and getting into turn 1 just right, able to move that number 1 in turns 1 and 2, and maybe try and clear him. I mean, I think that's his only bet.
Basemore hasn't been able to separate each other like they were, but as I say that, Brotherton pushes up a little bit, kind of gaps it, but he's getting a really good run down in the corner and losing everything off exit, it looks like.
Yeah, I really don't think anyone's going to be able to fetch that number 1, which, you know, we like to see the close battles here, of course, and, you know, we wish the best to Jeremy Bazemore, obviously, but it would be nice to see Scott Brotherton be able to get up there and really battle with him. He gets a bit of a run into turn 1 that time. He's going to lose probably a little bit on exit, but he's definitely trying to come back and gain on that number 1. Maybe we'll see that battle I was just talking about. And, you know, especially for everyone watching, it's better to see those battles. It's more exciting.
Yeah, if the 3 can get up here and apply the pressure on the 1, this could get very interesting.
And I mean, the 1 hasn't had any pressure all night, so it's going to be like
we got a spinner back here.
Oh,
it'll be the 00 Kurt Rittenberg as he gathered it back up. Good save.
Did you get the Evil Knievel save of the night, Michael?
It wasn't as good as the one I gave it to earlier.
All right.
What I classify an Evil Knievel save is you're wrecking it and then you decide to change your mind.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's one way to put it, is Jeremy Bazemore opens that lead back up. He's just pulling right back away from Scott Brotherton. Maybe he was thinking the 3 was getting the wall, wouldn't be able to keep up with him, started to lean back off of the throttle a little bit more, maybe try and save his tires.
The 04 hardened the wall coming out of 2.
And we saw a car get up there in the wall. He's very slow up top. We'll see if we can't get a look at the truck.
That's going to be bad right here with the handful of laps left here. He's definitely going to lose a lot of points right here.
Yeah, Cody Spiker trying to come around the top. He's going to give it to Cody. Cody Spiker gets by in that number 19. They both got a lot of damage. We're going to go right back up to the lead battle, though.
This race right here is getting closer. The 3 is Brotherton is really starting to reel in Bazemore more and more every lap. Starting to really get a good exit now.
Maybe he was saving them tires a little bit while the 1 was trying to run away from him.
And we see him right back on his bumper, maybe as the laps wind down, as we see the 1 actually having some connection problems.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That just moved the 1 back to 2nd.
Huh.
Oh,
that puts the 3 back in the lead, or in the lead.
That's gotta suck. I've had that same issue before.
Yeah, and that changes everything, quite literally. I mean, we saw Scott Brotherton trying to maintain his tires, try and put pressure on the number 1. Now it's going to be the other way around, see if Jeremy Bazemore can overcome a huge deficit back to his position in 2nd with just a handful of laps to go.
Yeah, 10 to go.
Yeah, I mean, that,
wow,
I think, gives the win pretty much to Scott Brotherton unless he makes a big mistake.
Well, we've seen the 3 do it once. I don't think he's going to do it again. He's finally found the line, but I mean, anything's possible. Any given Sunday. Well, it's not Sunday. What is it? Thursday? Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, he can use that gap, especially back to Jeremy Bazemore. He can use as much of that gap as he wants without, you know, being worried about maybe bump and run in the last couple of laps, but he can just right here, he can just cruise. All he has to do is cruise, get to the finish. As actually he pushes up in 1 and 2 here. That's going to lose a lot. That's going to take a lot of time out of his lead.
Yeah, Basemore's reeling him back in. Is that last lap was down to just a little under a second from the previous lap.
Basemore's not going away, boys. We're going to have a race by the end of this one.
Wow, he gained a lot that lap.
And we're going to go in the cockpit of the number 1 as we see him try and chase the number 3 down into turns 3 and 4 this time.
Every lap that he gains on him, that's just more momentum that you're going to gain as a driver and confidence that you can catch him.
He didn't gain a tenth there. He gained just a few hundredths on the 3, but that's still a little bit gained on the 3. I don't know. He's going to have to gain more than just a few hundredths, though, if he wants to get up there and battle for the win.
Well, I think the most important thing right now is get back to putting pressure on the number 3. Just get himself back into a position where if the number 3 is Scott Brotherton slips up, he can take advantage, or if he just keeps gaining, maybe he can lay the bumper to him in Richmond style and try and take that win away.
Bazemore can't see a caution at this point because the next caution will end it.
Let's see. And the 3 just gained just a little bit on the 1 on that lap. Oh,
yeah, we
wow,
see the number 1
okay.
sideways out of turn 2. He's definitely wheeling that thing. I mean, he's definitely proven that he's a wheelman rather, and he's definitely proven that he maybe had the car to beat out here, but I think it's just too late. Scott Brotherton is able to just sit out there, cruise right now, and probably not make any mistakes from here on out.
Yeah, it looked like he wasn't going to go down without a fight, but I think the fight might be over with as we're fixing to come to 2 to go.
2 laps to
coming
go,
to 2 to go.
this
The
time
26 was looking underneath the 09 for 3rd. He was on the apron actually trying to get underneath the 09 for 3rd.
Yeah, we've got a battle heating up here for 3rd. Maybe, try and get Jeff Gilmore into it as the corners go away, but this time out of turn 4, 1 lap to go with Scott Brotherton with the command. Jeremy Bazemore trying to track him down, but I don't think he's going to get there. Scott Brotherton through turns 1 and 2, and the number 3 Rims 1 Chevrolet Silverado. He gets a little bit loose out of turn 2, but that's no matter. He's going to take the lead into turn 3, continue to lead rather. As he comes out of turn 4, Scott Brotherton is going to win the Richmond 135 in the All-Star Sim Racing Manifold Truck Series. And see the fireworks go off. It's actually affecting the frame rate of the broadcast, but that's one heck of a finish. Even though it ended up lagging number 1 back there, it was a battle before that, and that was really cool to see. I wish these guys could have actually battled it out though to the end, as Jeremy Bazemore hopefully congratulating him rather than maybe showing a little bit of emotion, but nonetheless, looked like congratulating him there. Scott Brotherton with the win, as we mentioned, and that's a big one too.
Yep.
Yeah, Randy Roberts, who finished 3rd, he started back in the 14th position. He had him a good race coming in on the podium.
Yeah, and as we go with slow-mo here on Scott Brotherton Celebration, we're going to go ahead and bring the top 3 down for interviews. First, we're going to look for Randy Roberts in the number 09. Randy Roberts, this is Andrew up in the booth. You finished 3rd tonight. What can you tell us about the whole race in general? Walk us through the end maybe, and how your truck was feeling.
Well, guys, I had my truck kind of set up to where it was just comfortable to drive, and I was just trying to race the track the whole night long, and just like I told the guys earlier, kind of the steady Eddie mode, idea.
Yeah, we saw you creep up from the back, really contend, really the whole second half of the race, really good with the whole front of the field doing a really good job of just maintaining what you had. Minimizing any losses maybe you had to any faster guys behind you, but once we got to about 30 to go, you really were able to keep that 3rd position, and come home right behind the battle of Scott Brotherton and Jeremy Bazemore. It doesn't look like maybe you're going to have any chance at the chase unless I'm mistaken, but nonetheless, it looks like maybe you can continue this momentum you just gained here into the rest of the season. And wish you the best of luck. Anyone you want to thank out there tonight?
Well, I want to thank the Old Farts racing team. I had a little help with a spotter tonight. I want to thank Mike Payton during those last few laps while I was trying to hold off the 26 truck. I had my hands full after about 20 laps with my setup. The thing was pushing pretty good. And I want to thank these guys for putting this on. This is a fun league.
All right, well, certainly, thanks for coming up in the booth, taking a second with us, and congratulations on your third place finish. Hope to see you back here at Chicagoland next week, and maybe get to talk to you there too.
I like Chicagoland, so yeah, maybe you will.
Alrighty, well, you have a good night, man. Once again, congratulations on third place finish, and I'm gonna be right back up. As we bring up Jeremy Bazemore. Jeremy Bazemore, this is Andrew up in the booth. You finished second tonight, but it looked like maybe you had the truck to beat until maybe some connection issues moved you back into second.
Yeah, I got a little update. Black the screen out for a second.
All right, well, yeah, it's definitely unfortunate to see. What can you tell us about what you were doing on those restarts and what you were doing trying to track Scott Brotherton back down to the number 3?
On the restarts, just trying to stay out front, just trying to stay in clean air. It's so hard to brake when you're judging your braking points behind other trucks. Tried to stay on low fuel there towards the end of the race. Tighten the truck up, made it a little easier to drive.
All right, well, certainly. Is there anyone you want to thank out there tonight? And before we get there, sorry, congratulations on the second place win, or second place. I'm losing it, man. Congratulations on second place. And is there anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, man. Thanks, guys, for putting this league on. Thank you guys for broadcasting it. It's been fun. This is a pretty good league. We had a few extra cautions tonight, but with this new build, it's going to happen. Sorry, new update is going to happen.
All right, well, once again, sorry for the mess up there. I commentated a whole race and I'm tired. Once again, congratulations on second place. Gonna move you back up and get the winner, Scott Brotherton, back in here. And Scott Brotherton, first off, congratulations on the win. Looked like maybe you were gonna run second there. Couldn't really get Jeremy Bazemore on those restarts, but you were definitely giving him a run for his money, and then ended up with that connection issue for him, just lucking into the lead pretty much, and then holding it off from there, really taking command and just setting sail. What can you tell us about the back half of that race, really?
That's correct for sure. I think I was a little better than Bays in 1 and 2, but I couldn't beat him off 3 and 4, and that's unfortunate that he lost connection there because I don't think I was going to beat him. But it's good for our team. Finished first and second. I spun earlier in the race by myself leading. That's never any fun. I'd stayed out. I think one stop too many. Went through a couple heat cycles on my tires, and once I bobbled and got loose, I got it back together. But when I got back to the gas, it just spun around on me. So it was tough getting back up through there, but made it happen.
All right, well, for sure. Once again, congratulations on that first place finish there tonight. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you get back to celebrating this win with your team?
Yeah, Rims won, Burley Boar, everybody at All Star Sim Racing, all the admins that helped us make this thing happen. You guys, I appreciate the broadcast. Looking forward to watching it back. And hopefully we'll have you on board for some more races soon.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll let you, like I said, get back to congratulating or celebrating the win with your team. Once more, congratulations on the win. It was definitely fun to watch you battle with Jeremy in the closing laps. And yeah, I mean, what can you say? Once more, congratulations. Move you back up. And have a good night, man.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
So, if we can get back to me talking correctly here, what was your guys' favorite part of the race?
I I don't really know, man. It was all kind of action packed. I mean, one scenario kind of died down, another one picked up, and it just there's not one that I could really roll out as the best.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. There was a lot of good action in the back half of the field. Some good 3-wide racing going on, good clean racing. But you really can't pinpoint one particular spot in this race.
What about you? What was your favorite?
Yeah, for sure. Like you guys said, it's hard to pick out a favorite moment, but I think it would have to be probably a culmination of events. I think first, the 3 losing it in front of the field, like he said, But he was able to come back through the field, get up to second, third place, and just try and pick away at the one. It was just really exciting to call those restarts, watch those restarts, and then, I couldn't believe it when all of a sudden the one was second place.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah, it sucks. I've had the same issue happen to me before. Nothing you can really do.
All right, well, I'm going to make sure you guys have a bit of information here. Going to make sure you guys can look at this chase grid going into tonight's race and maybe do some speculation. We don't have the exact points, but we can, do our best to speculate from here what we think maybe will happen going into Chicago as the field gets reset for the chase here in the All-Star Sim Racing Manifold Truck Series. We've got Chris Jennings. We know he's in, along with Jeremy Bazemore, Scott Brotherton, Jimmy North, Jeff Gilmore, James McKee, Mike Perry, and Matthew Cox. They're all in via a win. So they're fine. They easily could have just come out here and run dead last, every single one of them, but you saw them battling. Scott Brotherton with the win, Jeremy Bazemore second. And it really turns focus then to, of course, the four guys who weren't locked in. David Dolliver, I think is easily in. He finished 8th tonight. I think really, of course, Jeremy Rittenberg ended up, I believe, 5th on the night. He did great. Focus turns to Doug McCullum. We didn't see him out here tonight. And then Kurt Rittenberg finishing kind of back in the field.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't see the 33 of Doug McCullum out here tonight.
Yeah, I believe maybe the new build that was released yesterday that gave iRacing the UMP Modifieds maybe messed with his computer just a little bit. Didn't quite like it. As we know, this is sim racing, so, random things like that can happen, just like in real racing, maybe a cylinder goes through the engine block. So, anything can happen to prevent a guy from getting out here with us, and I believe that might have been his problem. But once again, Jeremy Rittenberg, David Dolliver, they're in. Obviously, I think they're easily in. Kurt Rittenberg, probably safe. Looks like coming in with two guys behind him, had a pretty good cushion. But then you have to look at Doug McCullum, and I think we can possibly bring up the actual points here in just a moment.
I think the 00 is going to be safe. Like you said, he had a 2-position cushion before coming into this race. He probably lost it to Jeremy. I believe that's his brother, I think you said. So
yeah, I believe those guys are brothers, so I do have the points at least for myself. I'll do my best to tell you what's going on here. I believe Cody Spiker might have just moved his way into the chase. We'll have to see where he finished. But he came into tonight only 15 points back of Doug McCullum. We didn't see the 33 on track tonight. And I think the next guy behind him without a win was 101 points back. That's Michael Sunick in the number, honestly, I forget.
03?
03. Wasn't the 03, but anyway.
Yeah.
Doug McCullum not in attendance. Cody Spiker was here, did his best. As long as he got 16 points in the night, I don't know the policy as far as missed races. I don't know if maybe they get points for missing a race. That might be something if we can get Jeremy Rittenberg up here. Yep, we certainly can. Jeremy Rittenberg, this is Andrew up in the booth. I know it's kind of impromptu to bring you up here after the race, but we're looking at points, kind of trying to build a picture of what's going on for the chase at Chicagoland when it begins. And, we didn't see the 33 of Doug McCullum, out on the track tonight. We did see Cody Spiker, though, and it looks like he's the next guy back of Doug without a win that would be looking for one of the final spots. So I was just wondering if you can tell us with any certainty whether or not Cody Spiker might be into the chase.
So far, with some of the things we got going, we've got a couple rules with the chase. Not only do you have to be in the top 20 of the points, you also have to have, or that would help, have the win as well. If you don't have that win, if you do have that win, you still need to be in the top 20 in points. We also can have people with a win drop lower and actually drop themselves out of the chase if they drop below that top 20. So now as we load these up, get these up onto the server here and add all the points up, we also have to factor in our drop weeks. We also drop the worst race of quarterly. We will drop the worst race that you have, and it kind of bumps you up in points. So really it's kind of just a guessing game for now until we factor all that in and see how everyone did.
All right. Well, we have, at least I have the points on my end up. I don't quite know your guys' point system. Maybe you could shed some light on that because, you mentioned the drop week, so that will come into play. But, pending what happens with that drop week, like you mentioned, Doug McCullum with only 15 points back to Cody Spiker. I'm just wondering if Cody Spiker maybe picked up enough points to maybe challenge for that spot pending the drop week situation.
Definitely pending that. It actually looks like right now, if not passing, it is going to be very close. So this was an important race. Of course, we had updates today, and we had some computer issues. I do feel bad for Doug; he couldn't make it, but this is kind of how things go. It's terrible that it happens like that, but like I said, we'll be able to see more once we get these drop weeks factored in, and kind of puts a few people on edge a little bit too, which I kind of like.
All right, well, for sure. Thanks for coming up. Just impromptu shedding some light on that. We'll let you get back up there with your admin duties on the series, and as soon as the standings are up on the page, we'll go ahead and share them on our PSI TV page. So anyone watching, if you're looking for any of that, wondering maybe where people are going into the chase, go ahead and keep an eye on our Facebook page, just like you're watching this stream. Go ahead and keep an eye out there. We will go ahead and share the ASSR Manifold Truck Series chase field once it is official. So once again, Jeremy, thanks for coming up, kind of just on a whim like that. Thanks for shedding some light. I'll go ahead and move you back out of the room if you like. And once again, just thank you.
All right, thanks you guys.
All right, so I guess that's that. We'll go ahead and have to wait until after we go off air to find out who's in, who's out. Any closing thoughts from you guys?
It was a fantastic race. I mean, everything that we said was going to happen happened. I mean, we were going to have people who were going to be aggressive, people that had trouble dealing with the track situation, with it being tight and loose at the same time. I mean, it was a fun race to watch, and it was a fun race to commentate, and I thank you for letting me be up here and commentating it with you.
Yeah, it was definitely fun to call. I know most of you two did most of the calling, because I'm a little short on words sometimes. I just like to bring you to the green flag, restarts and stuff. I hope I did a pretty good job tonight. I'll try to get better at this and talk a little more. But yeah, it was definitely a fun race to do tonight.
All right, for sure. Well, I think if I was going to add, I'd just say kind of what Zach said, really. It was a great race, really fun to watch, really fun to commentate over. We definitely give a huge thank you to All Star Sim Racing for allowing us to do this, and I give a huge thank you to you, Michael, and you, Zach, for coming up in the booth with me this week. Definitely helps out. And we will be back this Saturday night, I believe, with some more dirt action from NMNTS on dirt. Michael could tell us more about that if he would like.
Yeah, this Saturday night will be the final night of regular racing for the NMNTS Dirt League. For the regular points, we'll finish out our big shows, and then we will be moving to Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern here in just a few weeks.
All right, and yeah, we'll have that Saturday night, all that action with the final regular show of the season at Eldora Speedway. And other than that, I don't think we come back with any streams until next next week with ASSR once again from Chicagoland. So thank you everyone for coming out. Thank you guys for coming in the booth. Once again, thank you to ASSR for allowing us to do this. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully we have a good partnership for the foreseeable future. And yeah, this has been Andrew Cardinale, Michael Redding, and Zach Lindgren up in the booth for PSI TV. We wish everyone a good night, and we will get back with you this Saturday night.